Someday,
My green and red hair for Christmas today.
yeah, I can see that. Someday our mind is alert, and someday our mind is not
That's
aware.
exactly right.
So, what we are going to do, the seeker lives wisely. So, I have created a sub series. So, what we will do, we will pick up a verse from the written by the master, and then we will understand, so that you should know now. Now the time has come to know that from where I'm talking, which verse conveys the message in what way. And we all are seekers. I told you, my master told me that my master told everyone, why should to me only, that he's not looking for a mob, he's looking for one person who is awakened, the job is done. Because once you live into that state, you cannot prevent your mind to think and speak and act in the way of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. So it is going to influence your personal life, your professional life, your social life. So, my friends, thank you being with me. Being with me means, being with my master. So, in the last session, we discussed about that there are three factors. One is ignorance, second is impurities, and the third is the restlessness of the mind. And I also discussed, we briefly understood that the moment you experience the problem in your life, mind is in ignorance. You convert that problem into an opportunity, you are on the right path. You don't know, I have been taking the burden of the stress for the last 10 years. You are the craziest person. 10 years. We have already understood we are not worthy of suffering. But why the mind does not remind you that you are not worthy of suffering, and you fall back into the same challenges and the problems? So I will translate this verse, and then we will find out what this verse, a single verse, we will explain in detail. It says the non-dual real self of the nature of permanent happiness, even though it dwells in the cave of our heart, or cave of the heart of everyone, why it is not experienced. You see, that is the beauty of the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. They raise a question and then they answer. So why, if it lives within the cave of the heart of everyone, why it is not experienced? And then in a short form, the answer is given: being veiled by ignorance, impurities, and the restlessness of the mind. Did you see that? So if we understand what exactly is this impurity, what is this ignorance, and what is this restlessness, that is preventing me to discover, to know the real self. You got it? Say yes. Don't forget it. You forget it, then you claim that, I am the epitome of stress and suffering. How can I get rid of it? No, you have to be serious. Serious means serious in your mind, not on the face. Not on the face. So, as I told you that we'll be talking, I believe the teacher believes that you know already, you have the real self. We are reminding you. In the last session, what we did, we we reflected, uh, we reflected on that, we reflected that why it happens that we have been discussing and understanding the real self, and still it is nearest to me, and still I'm not able to find it. So now I'm explaining this verse. We are anxious or agitated and ask the mind to remain agitated. Even if you say no, I will definitely say you claim that. The moment any form of anxiety takes over you, any type of hesitation takes over you, then you keep on thinking and speaking and acting on that anxiety. The intellect has gone into the background. The mind takes over the intellect. We don't know. We forget. That forgetfulness is ignorance. That forgetfulness is ignorance. How simple it is and how challenging it is. No, you don't know. I have been suffering from a lot of problems. And when the problem took place 10 years ago, oh, you still remember that. Did you see that Terry talks about the body objectively? I'm also giving you a solution. When I talk of my problems, my hesitation objectively, I'm done. I'm aware. I'm aware. We promise to ourselves. Don't you promise? Do you want to get agitated? Do you want to be in stress? No. So I promise that I will not be agitated and stress, and still we become agitated and stressed. Do you see the ignorance? Do you see the ignorance? I promise to myself, no, 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 I will not be agitated, I will not be stressed. And still we become. So the master says that that there are three factors. One is ignorance, other is impurity in the mind, and the third is the restlessness of the mind. These are the three factors. But we have to explore how we get the knowledge of this ignorance, of this impurity, and also the restlessness. Once we know how we receive, how the mind gets the knowledge of that stress, and then it carries forward. Can we change? So go back into the last session. I'm explaining the verse. That what is the verse? The verse says that real self dwells in the cave of heart of everyone, and still it is not experienced. Why? The simple answer they have given, it is caused by the three factors, the ignorance and the wrong understanding, error in perception. That is one. So now you have to contemplate and reflect that why I live in that ignorance which causes me the stress and suffering. So I create the world of my own around me. I don't look at the world created by the existence. Sam is created as a man, so I must look him as a man only. First, objective. So when I look at objectively, I do not superimpose my mental ideas, labels on an event, on a person, on a thing. So the moment I superimpose, the ignorance starts. That is why we say, I've been suffering for the last 10 years. Okay, really? You're suffering from last 20 years. First, you say this, and then you start a big story. How you are suffering. And you forget it. No, problem is there. Let me solve the problem. Problem means I'm ignorant and mind is impure and restless. But if I use the problem as an opportunity, the life changes. There is the explanation by one master, but before the master wants to go and discuss about these impurities, he says that ask yourself, can any living being correct its errors, or they are living habitually, impulsively, and instinctively? Except the human being. We can live impulsively, we can live instinctively, we can live habitually, or we have a choice. Only the human being has a choice. Does the tiger plant the trees because we have already uh, uprooted the forest in the woods? No, they don't do it. We do it. We have a knowledge, we can take an action. Look into any area of human endeavor. So we are not going against the science. We are supporting knowledge and action. But yes, knowledge and action you are taking in the world, we are taking to find our real self. We are taking it. Just pick up that understanding. I'm repeating the verse again, and contemplate and reflect with me. The Master says that real self dwells in the cave of the heart of everyone, but it is not experienced. Why? Because of the three factors. First is ignorance, second is impurity, third is the restlessness of the mind. So it means the Eastern wisdom tells us how the restlessness should be removed, how the impurities of the mind can be removed, and that includes the entire journey of medical science, of stress management, EQ, IQ. But then the master, I'm reminding you, the master says the humility. Because this knowledge is coming from the masters, the entire tradition, the humility will help us constantly remember the journey. Ego makes you forget. I have already given a real life example of that guy who is paying thousands of dollars, but I got an email yesterday. I will talk to you after 2 months. Very good. So every text starts with an invocation. Invocation is an appeal, it is a petition, it is a request to start the journey with understanding and the humility. Humility because we want to learn who am I? What is the word? What is the existence? But why? Ask the question why? Because what we know about us, the world, and the existence is not clear to us. We are not made for the stress and suffering. We are not made for the anxiety. We are not made for the duality. We are not made for the conflict. Whatever the situation outside is, my mind has colored it. No, you're not talking. The cause is the ignorance, cause is the impurity, and cause is the restlessness of the mind. So the ignorance deludes us from the real self. Ignorance is nothing but the wrong notion, error in perception, wrong knowledge about us and the others. We don't check it. We continue to live in the wrong notion. When we are agitated, we experience that agitation because we have some expectation from the world outside, from the people outside, and that expectation starts causing the impurities. So impurities means the millions of the thoughts seeking peace and happiness outside, and that makes my mind restless. I summarized it. But it is very important to know what prevents us holding to the real self, our nature. Again, the answer comes the same: the impurities of the mind, ignorance, and I'm trying to impress on your mind so that you start contemplating. The moment you have sense of anxiety, duality, and a conflict, remember the three and see which one it is. You start working on it. Start working means I have to start thinking on it. Not thinking about the stress and the suffering, not thinking about the anxiety, but find out the cause of the anxiety, the nature of the anxiety, the effect of the anxiety, the progress that you are making with the impurities of the mind is going to help you relieve you there and then. Take one example, it will become clear, and then we will pick up in the next session also. Impurities of the mind. So the master, every master has recognized during the last 6,000 years, they have recognized 6 impurities of the mind. But why you are not talking of the ignorance first? So every master says ignorance is the major cause. It results into the impurities of the mind. The impurities of the mind causes the restlessness. So the impurities of the mind is the major cause that we can easily locate, find out before we go to the ignorance. So the ignorance, there are 6. We talk of anger management. There is no text in Eastern wisdom which says, oh, manage your anger, this is the way. But it goes to the root cause of the anger, agitation, stress. It includes anger, agitation, stress, and suffering. So 6, it says that there are 6 enemies. They are known as the 6 enemies. There are 6 enemies: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh Mad Matsari in Sanskrit, but to translate that into English means the desire. We have to pick up desire, hesitation, that means anger or hesitation also. Third is greed. Fourth is the delusion. Fifth is the pride. And sixth is the jealousy. You pick up, don't believe it. You pick up any experience of anxiety, duality, conflict, and stress. You will find one or more than one of these six enemies are the factor. But let us understand that desire. You expand it first. Expand all these six. Let us take the first one, the desire. Desire arises due to attachment and detachment. Attachment. What is attachment and detachment? It is emotional thinking. What causes the emotional thinking? Because I like or dislike. But now question comes, why I like and dislike? Can you tell me, can anyone tell me why you like a particular color of the clothes? Why you like tea or coffee? Whatever you like. You cannot give any solid reason, and that is ignorance. So behind the desire for seeking peace and happiness outside in the world, the root cause is the ignorance. That is why we have taken up the impurities. Six impurities: desire, hesitation, any form of hesitation. Then it comes to greed. Fourth is pride. Fifth is third is the greed. Then you have delusion, and then pride and the jealousy. So just think along this line. What to think along this line? Desire. From where this desire has come to my mind? I never think like this. Now I have a desire. Let it be fulfilled. So the desire is caused by the emotional thinking. That has an element of attachment and detachment. And from where this attachment and detachment has come? Because of the likes and dislikes in the mind. Don't I need to put to task why I like this, why I dislike this? We take it for granted. So the master says that likes and dislikes comes from that impulsive mind, from that habitual mind. What difference it will make to talk to you if I wear this shirt or another shirt? Tell me, what difference it will make? What difference it will make? Ask yourself. Whether I have beard or I don't have beard, what difference it will make? Think of when I start thinking and contemplating that restlessness due to the likes and dislikes and attachment and detachment drops, or it minimizes the impact. Impurities of the mind, we are talking the impurities of the mind. In the middle, restlessness is the effect and the result, and on the top, there is an ignorance. Think of this. I say that don't believe it, don't trust it, experiment. Start thinking about it. Now see how it says desire fulfilled. Desire fulfilled. So I want to repeat that desire. To repeat the desire is a greed. Look at the way the masters have worked on this. I said desire first, hesitation second, greed is the third. Hold on this up to this line. So desire fulfilled. When I repeat the desire, when I have a liking to repeat the desire, when I'm attached to repeat the desire, that is what the greed is. So the same desire has become the greed. And I have already told you, desire for seeking happiness outside is ignorance. The root cause is ignorance. Now, if the desire is not fulfilled, what happens? Hesitation, anxiety, duality, anger. Desire is not fulfilled. Why you have not given me a cup of tea? I have been waiting for you. Unnecessary, unwanted, unwanted. So, do you see desire fulfilled? Greed. Desire not fulfilled? Hesitation and anger. You are anxious, you are restless because you have to explore what desire is not fulfilled. Look, see the combination. Now go a little deeper. So after the greed comes the delusion. The fourth one is the delusion. But why it is a delusion? Because if I take a cup of tea, I'll be happy. So it means happiness lies in the cup of tea. Look at it. Now you all are seekers. We have to go little deeper. Contemplate and reflect. I'm not saying don't take a cup of tea or coffee, whatever you do, but find out. Remove that ignorance. Then take it. But it doesn't mean that, I have removed the ignorance and every day in the morning I take 5 beers. One student of mine told me. You told me. So I said, did you remove the likes and dislikes about the beer? He lived in New Jersey. He was a nurse and then he turned into a software developer. He said, I have to work late and so that, no, that's why I'm with you. So that I'm not doing it. I lost a lot of money from him. I said, no, I cannot help you. If you argue and if you rationalize like this, come back. So why it is a delusion? That desire is seeking peace and happiness from the world outside. Are you clear about the four? Desire first, second is the hesitation, third is the greed, fourth is the delusion. Now you are repeating that desire which is being fulfilled. Forget about your Eastern wisdom. You are crazy. You see, now I'm earning a lot of money. I'm reflecting on this guy who just sent an email. He's earning a lot of money. So that being repeated, so that earning money or earning reputation or becoming an influencer gives you a pride. And in pride, you are living in ignorance. You are living in ignorance. I can think. I can imagine. This guy thinks that, okay, he remembers me, he sent an email because he wants money. So he has a sense of jealousy. And all the six impurities have taken over my mind. Unless we get rid of these impurities of the mind, we cannot find that real self. Last point, what about the desire for food? Does the desire for food causes any anxiety? No. Casual. You have to find out those desires which results either into hesitation or anxiety, or into greed, or into delusion, or into pride, or into jealousy. Are you clear? It doesn't mean that we don't have a desire. Don't make it wrong. We should have a desire, okay? Desire for basic necessities. Desire for a cup of tea, but you are not carried away by it. Your mind says, I cannot do without it. That is the problem. I am simply saying you keep on thinking, contemplating. that my mind says I cannot do without this thing, whether it's a cup of tea or a dress or a car or anything. Why? Because I want to find the real self. But how it helps? I am not able to perceive that real self because of ignorance, impurities, and restlessness. Last point is very important. I gave a brief explanation. In another text, that explanation goes in almost 8 or 9 verses. It goes deeper. But one thing, the last thing that we should understand, this desire becomes the hesitation. This desire becomes the greed, that desire becomes the delusion, that desire becomes the pride, that desire becomes the jealousy. So all the 6 enemies are reduced to one. What is that desire? Be very clear. Desire to survive. I'm hungry. Let me eat food. It has nothing to do with what we are learning. That desire only for seeking peace and happiness outside in the world, from a people, from a place, from a time, from an event, becomes hesitation in the stress and anger. So that is why our masters never cared how to manage your anger. You manage the root cause. Are you getting it? You manage the root cause. The desire becomes the anger, desire becomes the hesitation, desire becomes the anxiety, one level. Desire becomes the greed, desire becomes the delusion, desire becomes the pride, desire becomes the jealousy. Take care of the root cause. And from where the desire comes? Emotional thinking. Attachment. What is emotional thinking? I'm giving another expression, attachment and detachment. But from where this attachment and detachment has come? By default, I like something and I dislike something. I already explained to you last week. I have a negative vibration against that person. Did you check yourself? Did you check yourself that whether you have the negative vibrations inside your mind and you are reflecting the corresponding negative vibrations in others? Existence has given the other person to exist, to live. Who are you to see the negative vibrations? And I know, Jerry knows that we have a lot of people in our profession. They talk a lot about this. I don't know. I feel the negative vibration. You're such a great person, greater than the God who feels the negative vibration. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Position of the body. And check. I told you, you all are seekers. Thank you for supporting me in this journey. So, yeah, you're supporting me. I'm expressing the wisdom of the Eastern. Check that how fast we are settled. I have been repeating now, again and again. Are you still struggling with the body, breath, mind, position of the body? Struggle means what? Recognize. That is another manifestation from the ignorant mind, which is restlessness, which is not happening that I see, but I'm just explaining. And then being comfortable, settled in the comfort. Comfort is a mental experience. Oh, yes. And But still, we continue to follow the same step. You look at the neck joint, be there, feel. What do you feel? Sensation, comfort, steadiness, space inside. You can go a little deeper. Why? You are a seeker. I can tell you, my friends, if you are, if you have understood being comfortable 100%, you have a sense of anxiety and restlessness, you be comfortable, settle in comfort. Let me see how you have an anxiety in it. But in order to understand that deeper layer, I have to become a seeker. That's why we are selected people. Settled in the comfort. Look at the shoulder joints, be there, feel, experience, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Check. Consciously experience. Let the mind declare, your mind declare that I'm settled in the comfort, not what I guided you. And then being carefree, impulsive, instinctive, habitual mind, which keeps these six enemies intact all the time. And I told you, I specifically mentioned, you have to reflect on this. Attachment, detachment is an emotional thinking. Thinking, but emotional. Due to impulsive nature. Why? Likes and dislikes. So that is why we are carefree. Let any thought come and go. Watching, observing thoughts, feeling happening in the mind is not me. Modern psychology says it is you. A brand you are in anxiety, you are a bipolar, you are a split personality, long list. We say it belongs to the mind, not to you. That is what is being carefree. I'm simply saying you think along this line, you reflect along this line, and then see what happens. Your experience is greater than any research done. Why? Because we are undertaking a journey consciously. So, what we are doing, in a way, we are marrying the intellect to the mind. Once that state is reached, then we can purify the mind. And we have been doing the breathing practices. But again, you look deep inside the forehead in the space, and there you are asking the mind to sing Om Shanti, Om Shanti. That is restfulness state. So you are comparing that restfulness state at the outer level, at the physical, and at the breathing level, you are creating a pressure. That can you endure it? Well, if you can endure, you can continuously see that separation. So now the first step we have been doing, it's not a big deal. You can easily, you understood that. You're looking deep inside the forehead in the space, dropping Om Shanti. Body is in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And then start breathing quick and fast from the chest. through the nostrils. Continue. Do not. Who stops? The mind. Which mind stops? If I say the impurity, can you make out clearly? Om Shanti also continues. The body remains steady and comfortable. And then you are breathing. You're checking the endurance level and stop this. Do nothing. Experience the change. When you follow all the points, there is a tremendous change. There's the outpouring of the energy, refreshing, tingling, numbness, colors in the visions, they all appear. Today we are doing 2.5 minutes. We are increasing slowly so that the mind should not become wild. Keep on doing Om Shanti inside the forehead in the space and start now breathing from the belly through the nostrils. It's a little longer breath. No worries about any changes that is taking place. You have already told me you are not suffering from any challenges really pertaining to the heart. The rest is okay. Continue. When you are doing consciously with awareness, even 2.5 minutes, you can see the sea change. Let us see that. Continue. It's a longer breath, longer than the chest breathing. But the noisy breath, total expansion, and the contraction of the belly, the mind will say no. I know that. Which mind will say no? Recognize it. You moved from ignorance to wisdom. You're working on the mind, you're working on the body, you're working on the breath. And stop this, do nothing. Om Shanti continues, the body remains steady. You have broken up that emotional thinking will not continue. We'll talk about that. Keep your focus. Om Shanti continues, body is steady. Now, long in the deep breath, both from the belly and the chest. You, you can make out the way by the noise of my breathing. Your belly expands, your chest expands, your belly squeezes, your chest squeezes. Long, deep. Continue. And no worries. Enough if the body moves, the mind will react. At least we can endure that reaction. When you say, I can't do it, it is because of the mind. We want to bypass it. Continue. And stop it. And change the quality of Om Shanti and the breath. Start breathing deep, silent, and slow. Moving the mind from the crown of the head as you inhale, saying Om Shanti. That Shanti touches the tailbone, and as you exhale, the mind moves, rises, and to the crown of the head, Om Shanti. Continue. You'll find your awareness, your understanding. Where is your understanding that if the mind stops me, prevents me, forces me to stop and plays tantrum while breathing, it means I have to do it. I have to continue to take over this mind. Om Shanti continues. My guru used to say that a point shift, a point shift of the mind takes you very deep into a meditative state. And that shift comes from understanding, knowledge, plus practice. Now, leave this breathing. Follow the same triangle. I'm keeping that step as intact. Your mind picks up immediately, looking inside the cave of your heart, the triangle, and you are dropping. You left the breath. Let the breath flow on its own. Let the body remain steady. You bypass the body and the breath, the two layers. Third layer is the mind. You move the mind on each side of a triangle. You drop Om Shanti. And then check. The mind follows the triangle and Om Shanti. It is not distracted anywhere. And at that moment, you have to sing Om deeper mentally, pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. Seemingly stops, Shanti, and absorption. My job is done. Do you see that? The doer of the meditation absorbs into an experience. Can I say that is self absorption? So that doer is lost, and you are able to live into that awareness. Shanti. Once you say Shanti, that doer mind is gone. You will also find the objections of the mind. Those objections are nothing but the impurities of the mind. We will recognize in the following sessions when your mind becomes subtler and subtler. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside, know your experiences. Bring your hands down, we'll share our experiences now to progress. How are you, Stephen?
Great, great. It was pretty remarkable. Excuse me. I've never experienced anything like this. As soon as you said the master said that peace and happiness dwells in the heart center, it was as if my eyes immediately closed and I went right to my heart center. And I was in this expansive, warm space the entire time. So from the start of your words till just now, that's where I've been. And it's an incredible feeling.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sri Aurobindo, I have been talking about him. He said once that once you go into meditation, it becomes difficult for you to return from the meditative state. Pay attention. Your eyes are open. You continue to live into that meditative state. So it is the quality of the meditation, not the quantity, that matters. So that is what Stephen said, that the moment he closed his eyes and total absorption took place. I gave my expression to what Stephen said. So how are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you very much. It was somewhat similar to Stephen's too, in that it was just a very different, unique experience. And the only words I can come up with, it was like a full cleanse of the mind. And I just had this almost void in time for the last, whatever it was, 30 whatever minutes, just nothing. I could hear you and I could participate in the breathing, but there was nothing other than that.
It's another way. It's another better way to explain. I could consciously feel that the mind is clear. There is a sense of purity. So both are together. You stand in front of a mirror that is one, and at the same time you see the image that is second. Both work simultaneously. I won't say the word work, they both happen simultaneously. The purity, and I'm totally absorbed. That's really good. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Really similar. I had that, I was much more, I guess it was a normal meditation for me in that I was very aware of the Om Shanti when we were doing the breathing. And, I'm always kind of aware of the calmness, but the activity or with the activity. And then the lesson I really enjoyed. And when you talked about how, this person has a certain vibe or that person has a certain vibe. Well, it's interesting because this time of year we're at a mixer, with 25 people. And I walk into the room and the first thing I think is we're all the same. So I see we're all the same. And then the mind says, oh, I see him and her and, these shapes and sizes and, maybe one person has an eye that goes sideways and, it's all different, but it doesn't mean anything, right? But it's interesting because the minds think differently. The bodies look different. The attitudes are different when you speak with someone, that ease and grace that seems to be there or not, So it's just, and it's kind of a play and a fun, like you said.
Wonderful. I think, where Jerry's mind and mental consciousness is looking, the first thing that you see that they all are one. We all are the real self. And from the real self, the manifestation of the different people, name, label, shape, size appears. Then there cannot be any negative vibration. And don't believe those people belonging to even to my profession who claims that, no, I see a negative vibration. They exploit you. Oh, I see too much of negative vibration in Terry. I will come to your house and I will remove that negative vibration off. A contract from the God. Don't believe. Simply remove that from the mind. I'm just talking. Beautiful. How are you, Terry?
Similar to what Jerry said.
Good.
I felt all the different aspects of the experience, but I didn't hold on to any of them.
Need not to.
I moved forward in time.
Yes.
Along with no judgment. And I simply did I felt kind of a tingling and a
Yeah. Beautiful.
sense of effort, but no judgment. And then that helped me to just let go.
Let it go and live into that state. One thing is coming. You all are seekers, so I'm telling you. What happens that these masters have collected the experiences of thousands of the students and the seekers. And they converted that into a question and answer format, which became the text. So you all narrated your experiences differently. And that is what, many masters have done it. They converted into a poetic form and the prose form and the poetry form. So that is what we are learning. So how are you, Vaibhav? Then I'll come to yes.
Sir, I'm good. While doing the breathing, it seems like that my awareness was rising. And after that, it was like that totally absorbed, but my awareness was complete. Like I can feel everything. It was very peaceful.
Beautiful. Yes. Now see, his mind is focused on the breathing. It's okay. Everything is okay. So master picks up that, that why their mind is, one's mind is picked up on breath, why one's mind, like Terry, fixed on the time, and why David's mind is fixed on that purity. So they all were collected in the form of a book by these masters. That is what we have learned. How are you, Randy?
I'm fine, thank you. My meditation was really deep and peaceful and dark today.
Very good. Peace, and you are always in peace, isn't it? Very good. How are you, Sam?
Good. Yeah, I experienced a similar timelessness feeling to what
Yeah.
David expressed.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting cold after the breathing.
Yeah. Sometimes we feel cold and after timelessness feeling. So we have to see that how long that state of the timelessness continues. That is what Sri Aurobindo says. What he said, I'm repeating, that he said, you go into meditation, now it becomes difficult for you to come out of the meditative state. Did you understand? That does not mean that you are not opening your eyes, you are not doing your daily activities. You are doing everything. It has nothing to do with, I will remain, it has nothing to do with the headstand pose, that demonstration. No. I'm just criticizing my own profession, so it's not. How are you, Sangeeta? Then I'll go to anesthesia.
सर बहुत पीसफुल था और एकदम एब्जॉर्ब था
बहुत पीसफुल था. डेली क्या करो, रेगुलर क्या करो?
सर मॉर्निंग में करती हूँ बैठती हूँ
मॉर्निंग में करते हो, ठीक. Now I'm asking her to do it daily. She has been for the last कितने 25 साल हो गए? 25 years, yeah. So how are you, anesthesia?
Thank you very much. I'm good. Thank you for the lesson. It was today very helpful because I am this person who promises myself every time, and I reflect on my strong emotion. I balance myself, and then next situation come, and sometimes my mind quickly tricks me. And that I've noticed during practice that every time situation is different, but my emotion is the same, and it appears only in my mind. So today today my body was so heavy, so heavy that it felt as if the gravitation was different, and I even thought that how can I move my body at all in life? Why it feels easy? Because today my mind paid attention on this heaviness of my body.
Beautiful. Two things I will, when you share the experiences, it goes to everyone listens to it. And that is how it helps you. So in the end, she pointed out a wonderful thing that her body was frozen completely, and she was thinking as if she cannot move the body. What it means. The body, the breath, the mind, the intellect, the ego, the thoughts are constantly moving. That is superimposed on the real self. And then we find that we cannot live. This is what our life is. Now, what happened to anesthesia? The reverse happened. The real self doesn't move. It doesn't change. It is always in peace. That superimposed on the body, mind, life, intellect, and the ego. That is why she is sharing that experience. Everything is rationally explained. Look at it. That's a beautiful way. It does not mean that it did not happen to you. It had happened to you, but can I awaken to that? You have a car key in your pocket, you forget it. That is what happened. And the one thing more that I would like to share about anesthesia sometimes sends a very long email, but she writes logically. Now, I'm not telling you the content of the email. She writes logically. Is this true? Is this true? That is another way of true reflection. And I say, yes, this is wonderful. And she comes out of that emotional baggies. Think of this. So the same way we should think. I'm ready. You can share any email, whatever feeling is that. But you have to work on yourself. And that is all. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.